I have interviewed some of India's wealthiest entrepreneurs, and the ones who seemed genuinely content were rarely the ones with the most money. And for years, I couldn't explain that. But then I read this book, and it all made sense. Hi, I'm Avan Dabash, and I have spent 16 years anchoring business news. I have conducted hundreds of interviews with some of the sharpest financial minds in India, as well as some of the top market voices and entrepreneurs. And this channel exists because I believe that the most important money lessons are not about making more money, but they are for understanding why you're actually making it. So today, I'm going to be sharing 10 lessons from this book called The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel. And it has completely changed how I think about wealth. And I hope that you will take away so much from this. So here's what I'm going to be showing you in this video today. One psychological trap that just keeps the high earners feeling poor. And you will recognize this one immediately. Not just that, I will also talk about the single most underrated asset in personal finance. Guess what? It's got nothing to do with your portfolio. And I will give you a framework at the end that is going to change how you make every single financial decision going forward. So stick around for lesson 5, especially because that is the one that hit me the hardest. All right, so first up, this book opens with an observation that is actually pretty uncomfortable because it is so accurate. It talks about how a wealthy entrepreneur often feels like they just don't have enough. Meanwhile, someone else who's probably earning a fraction of that income can actually feel so much at peace. The difference has nothing to do with the number in their bank account. It has everything to do with the gap between what you have and what you want. So as you shrink that gap, you will win. As you widen it, no income in the world will ever feel enough. Lesson 1. Contentment is the goal, not more. True happiness, the book says, is when you stop asking what else you need to be happy. The key is contentment. And here is what makes this so hard. The antidote to happiness is focusing on what you don't have. And today's world is built on advertising, on comparison, on marketing, and that is being engineered against you every single day. Lesson 2. The things that matter don't change with income. Now, this one I've confirmed with dozens of interviews and so many successful people whom I've spoken with. When you genuinely press them, what is it that they value the most? And it is always the same. Time with my family. Being outdoors. A good meal with my family and friends or with people I love. Real conversations. The expensive things, that is rarely on the list. The bag, the car, the fancy house. And that is not cliche. That is actually from data from people that I've spoken to and gathered across the years in honest conversations and what is elucidated in this book. Lesson 3. The most underrated financial asset is not needing to impress strangers. And this is worth so much more than you will actually realize. When you stop performing for people who don't even know you, your desires will naturally fall. When your desires fall, your satisfaction with what you already have is only going to grow. It's just the compound effect. It's working in your favor for once. Lesson number 4, the hedonic treadmill. The ability to get used to something that you once considered a luxury, that is the hedonic treadmill. And it is the reason that a pay raise rarely makes people happier. Why does Christmas morning feel happy? Because it happens once a year. And that is the exact same logic that applies for every single luxury in your life. When something exceptional becomes constant, it loses the power to delight you. So the lesson is, make those treats occasional. Don't make them permanent. And that is how you will keep savoring them. Lesson number 5. Future regret is not a financial tool. Now this is the one tool that really changed something for me. Before any significant purchase, ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 5 years? How will I feel about this in 10 years? The book actually offers a very simple example. $100 shirt versus $100 dinner with friends. Both cost the same. One is a memory that you'll actually smile about in the future. The other one probably gathers dust. And if you save either one instead, you will gain something more valuable than both: independence, freedom, options. $100 in your savings account is $100 of future choice. Remember that. Lesson 6. Your social circle is your financial destiny. This is so true. You actually become a reflection of the 3 to 4 people that you spend the most time with. If your closest friends have expensive tastes, your own expectations will quietly start converging with that lifestyle. Yes, it is true. It actually affects how much you spend, how much you earn, and critically, how happy you actually are with what you already have. So choose your circle wisely. Choose your circle with intention. It is going to impact you in the future. Lesson 7. Possessions as identity. The more your identity is attached to what you own, the more other people's opinions of those possessions are going to define your self-worth. So that's pretty exhausting, and it is a very expensive way to live. Let people love you for who you are. Not for the house you have, not for the car you drive, not for what you're wearing. Your humor, the time you spend with them, your company, that is more important. Lesson 8. Spend extravagantly on what you love. Yes, cut everything else. This is one of my favorite lessons in the book. If you love clothes, for example, and you couldn't care less about cars, then dress like someone with money, drive like money is tight. Give yourself this permission to be very specific with what brings you joy. Don't try to perform joy in every category simultaneously, because that is what is going to break your budget and leave you feeling empty. So hone in on it and focus on that. Lesson number 9. Reject the assumption that you should like what is popular. So now modern spending and with social media, it's really built on this assumption that you are supposed to want what is advertised, what is expensive, what is trending. Knowing when to reject that pressure is a genuine skill, and it requires independence. So please think for yourself, build this deliberately. It will change your life. And finally, lesson number 10. Rich versus wealthy. Rich means that you have the money to buy what you want. Wealthy means that you have control over what that money is doing to your personality, to your freedom, to your desires, to your relationships, and most importantly, to your mental health. If you don't figure out how to use that money correctly, money will use you. So, it seems like most financial content is about returns, is about ratio, but this channel, I wanted to keep it about both the numbers and the life that you are building with them, because you can optimize the wrong thing for decades and end up with a full portfolio and an empty life. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe, because this is the kind of conversation that I want to keep having. It would mean so much to me. I'm Ava Andabash, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.